auto. Got an auto, so I can't complain. We got a nice judge too. It's our first Aaron Judge card. Kind of crazy. File back. We're running out of stacks. Moving along. Green would be Dave Parker, 99. Let's get one more auto, that's all I have. Literally one more. Kirby, Shane Smith. The all-base dirty diaper. X. Gotta have extra cards in it. 2 backwards cards, come on. Both are numbered. Samuel and rookie. Oh, that is so sick. The James Wood 1955 anniversary parallel refractor, number 51 out of 55. There we go. We needed this a lot earlier. They kind of look like the prism refractors, the hyper refractors. They're super easy to miss. So you got to be super, super careful. I'm a fan. The 2 number cards in 1 pack. Nice. Yeah, James Wood, probably my favorite pull so far. We're going to set him over here to the side, kind of give us hopefully some good luck. Hopefully James Wood can encourage all the other big hits to pop out now. Remember louder? This one last time. But it's got base card stacks everywhere right now. Alright, moving along. Probably got about 30-ish packs to go here. Refractor. 4 packs left in this current stack. Will Smith to 100. Nice color match. Bryce. We keep pulling this card. You can pull numbered versions of those too. They look really, really nice. Jacob Wilson blue for the Phils. Schwartz. I used to be such a big Kyle Schwarber doubter 3 years ago, but this dude is mashing him. Super consistent. He is a baseball player. Final pack for this stack right here. Got the Babe and Kinsey Ford. Alright, we are down to 2 sets. See how we're going out. The remaining goal in this video is just 1 more auto. Even if it's a base card, I really wouldn't, a base auto, I wouldn't care. Quit! 150. Got Vladdy again. Got a numbered card. Langoliers. 500 again. tearing it up. It's going to be one of those 1955 refractor Yogi Berra. That looks so nice. Obviously not like a huge card, but has been a very down opening, and we need to celebrate honestly anything we can. Can't win them all though. Can't win every opening. Sucks I had to be him. Reagan's isn't even bad, but Bobby would have been nice. Red with 5. At least we got something super low number though. We had a few gold, but that was really good. We didn't have anything like orange to 25 or, you know, it's always nice to see something like that. All base galore, come on. Too late in the opening to see all base card packs. We are running out of packs. I think Murray. Alright, left we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 1 box left worth of packs. This is literally the last box. Number Tyler Phillips. That's how we want to start our last box. Moving along. I think we have 5 packs left here. We'll be, come on, one more auto, one more auto, one more auto. Gotta speak into existence. Not here. And there's definitely going to be at least 2 all base card packs. We have 3 left. Not good. Get one of them out the way real quick. Probably back to back here.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
Jackson. Final pack. Started with 250. We're down to our final pack. We're calling out with an all base card dirty diaper. Alright. I mean, that just goes to show you guys, you definitely can't win them all. Let's do a recap of what we were able to pull. That definitely sucked away.
Videos you could have clicked on. It's definitely not a coincidence you clicked on this. You could literally be watching anything on YouTube right now, but somehow a God video popped up on your screen and you were interested enough to click it. That's not a coincidence. You could literally be watching anything right now. A Ryan Trahan video. I love Ryan Trahan. Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast content is pretty cool, right? Me personally, my honest confession is that sometimes I like watching vacation vlogs. But that's enough of that. You're here right now, and God showed you this for a reason. I really believe He wants to tell you this. There's a verse in the Bible, Jeremiah 1:19. Nobody talks about this verse, but I believe God is trying to speak this to you right now. God said, they will fight you, but they will fail. For I am with you, and I will take care of you. Now, I want you to notice what God said. Nobody's going to fight you. You're going to have an easy life. You're never going to have any opposition. Nobody's ever going to come after you. The devil's going to give you an easy, comfortable life where you never got to go through any trials. The devil's never going to come after you. That's basically what that verse is saying, right? No. God literally promised you they will fight you. Opposition is guaranteed in this life, especially if you're on Team Jesus. But listen to me. Opposition is just confirmation that you're on the right path. Think about video games. The further you get, the harder the levels get. Nobody gets to the final boss on level 1. The final boss, meaning like the final level, only comes when you make it far enough to face him. And guess what? The levels get harder over time. So maybe you're watching this right now and you're like, yeah, the devil has definitely been attacking me. I'm going to tell you this. The devil doesn't attack people going in the wrong direction. The devil doesn't attack people who aren't a threat. The devil doesn't make life hard for people who are already his. And the devil wouldn't be fighting you so hard if there wasn't something valuable inside of you. Thieves don't break into empty houses. Dogs don't bark at parked cars. Like I said, opposition is just confirmation you're on the right path. But God didn't stop there. He said, they will fight you. But what? What comes next? But they will fail. So opposition is guaranteed, but so is their failure. That's why the Bible also says, no weapon formed against you will prosper. It never said the weapon wouldn't form, but it did say it wouldn't work. So God starts this verse off by warning you, saying, they're going to fight you. All right? I'm going to just tell you right now, they're going to fight you. But He also reassures you by saying, they're going to fail. And let me give you some context to this, because God said this to Jeremiah. And I know a lot of people don't know who Jeremiah is, but basically he was just a teenager at this time. And God wasn't exaggerating. They literally fought Jeremiah his entire life. His own hometown was plotting against him. He got beaten, he got locked up. They threw him in a pit and left him to die. Like, Jeremiah went through a lot of junk, but God brought him out every single time. And Jeremiah outlasted every single enemy he had. All the people who attacked Jeremiah are now people that we don't even remember. But we remember Jeremiah. And that's the kind of God we serve, man. Yeah, we're going to go through trials and tribulations in this life. People are going to fight us and attack us because it's literally guaranteed from God. Jesus said, if they hated me, they'll hate you. But guess what? No weapon formed against us will prosper. And why will they fail against us? Why will the enemies not succeed? Because God goes on to say, for I am with you, and I will take care of you. Notice God didn't say, I'll send help, or I'll watch from heaven. God said, I am with you. It's very clear in the Bible, time and time again, God tells us that He's with us. And I just find that so fascinating, because the God of the universe does not on some clouds, just looking down from heaven, watching you fight and go through this stuff. He's in it with you. And I really want to encourage someone watching this right now. God is with you. I know it might not feel like it. You might feel like God is absent. But the teacher is always silent during the test. And why are they silent? Because they've already given you everything you need to pass that test. And God has already given you himself. And if God is all you have all you need. The giant in front of you is never greater than the God inside of you. The Bible says we are more than conquerors in Christ. That means we don't fight for victory. We fight from victory. You are on the winning team. I'm trying to explain this to you, but let me show you some stories in the Bible where people fought against God's people, but they failed. It happens time and time again. Let me start with the Red Sea. So God's people are leaving Egypt, and Pharaoh and his army starts chasing after them. And so the Israelites are running, but then they run into the Red Sea. So they're literally trapped. They got the army behind them, and they got the Red Sea in front of them. And people were panicking out there. They're like, no way, we're about to die, bro. Are you kidding me? And what did God tell them? The Lord himself will fight for you. Just stay calm. And we all know what happened next, right? God split that Red Sea. They walked through. And when the enemy army tried chasing them through there, the water came crashing down on them. And I want you to notice something. God didn't remove the Red Sea. He parted it. God doesn't always remove your problems, but he will make a way through them. God never promised you an easy life, but he did promise to be with you in everything you go through. And he's not only with you, he's for you. And if he is for you, it doesn't matter who or what is against you. If the sea couldn't stop Moses, a giant couldn't stop David, the grave couldn't stop Jesus, then nothing and no one can stop you or God's perfect plan for your life. Let's go to the next story just to make sure you understand that God is with you and no weapon formed against you will prosper. They will fight you, but they will fail. David, he's a young shepherd, and all the Israelites are terrified. They're on this battlefield, and they're constantly being made fun of and taunted by this big giant, Goliath. He's like 10 feet tall. But then David shows up one day. He sees the giant, and he's like, why are y'all so afraid? And why did David say that? Because everyone else was focused on the size of the giant, but David was focused on the size of his God. Everyone else was measuring the giant against themselves, but David was measuring the giant against God. And that's God math. And I like God math because nothing you face is bigger than God. So what happens next? David goes out there and he says, I'll fight him. And David looks at the giant and he says, you come to me with a sword and a spear, but I come to you in the name of the Lord. And we all know David took Goliath out. The weapon formed, but the weapon didn't prosper. They fought against God's people, but they failed. And I don't know what kind of giant you got in your life right now. It might not be some 10-foot tall dude named Goliath, but maybe it's a bill, anxiety, depression, lust, an addiction, a sickness, whatever it is. I'm here to tell you that that giant is not bigger than God. The enemy will try to fight you, but the enemy will fail. Let's go to the next story, Daniel and the lion's den. So Daniel had God's favor upon his life, and the people in his city really didn't like that because they were jealous. They were envious of what Daniel had. But Daniel was super faithful to God. Daniel was praying 3 times a day, and so these people tried to find something wrong with him so that they could accuse him to the king to get him in trouble. But as they observed his life, there was nothing wrong with him. All he did was pray 3 times a day. He was super faithful to God. So they were like, let's go to the king and tell him he should make a rule that you can't pray to anyone else except him. And so the king agrees. And so then these people find Daniel praying and they accuse him to the king. And then the punishment was to be thrown into a lion's den. So Daniel gets thrown into a lion's den. And what happens in the lion's den? God shuts the mouths of the lions. And Daniel is just chilling in there with them, man. And I'm here to tell you today that the same way Daniel slept in that lion's den, Jesus slept in a storm, Peter slept in prison, I slept in math class. I'm just kidding. I mean, I did. That's not my point. When you have God, you can have rest no matter your circumstance because peace is not the absence of trouble. It's the presence of God. And God said he's a very present help in trouble. God's name is I am. Not I was, not I'm going to be. I am. That means he's present with you right now in this moment. You see all these stories I'm telling you? The weapon formed, but the weapon didn't prosper. These people were attacked, but the people who attacked them failed every single time. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they get thrown into a fire all because they were obeying God. But what happened? Jesus stepped into the fire with them. God doesn't always keep you from the fire, but he will always meet you in it. And so I want to go back to the verse that we started with. They will fight you, but they will fail. Notice it doesn't say you will fight them and you will win. Because you're not the one who's doing the fighting. Your job is not to win the battle. Your job is to trust the one who's fighting the battle for you. The battle you're facing right now is not yours to fight. I don't know what you're facing right now, but God is the one who fights for you. And your responsibility is to trust him. That's it. That's your whole assignment, to trust him, not to win the battle yourself, not to figure it all out on your own, just to believe in the one who has already won the battle. That's why God told Moses and the Israelites, just stay calm when they were trapped in between the sea and the army. That's why David could run towards Goliath. That's why Daniel slept peacefully with the lions. They weren't depending on themselves, they were depending on God. God is your protector. He's your defender. And you don't got to prove anybody wrong. Listen, there's going to be people who are always constantly gossiping and talking about you and trying to fight you and attack you, but you don't got to prove anybody wrong. All you got to do is prove God right. You don't got to have the final word. You don't got to defend yourself in every situation. You don't got to respond to every hater, answer to every rumor. When you fight your own battles, you get in God's way. But when you let God fight, you're going to get God's results. And I like God's results. I like what God can do a lot more than what I can do. So let me summarize everything that we're talking about and let me finish this video. I'm not going to waste too much of your time. I know you're going through something right now, and maybe you've been thinking that this attack is proof that God left you, but I'm going to tell you that it's actually proof that the devil is irritated. He's mad. Like I said, the devil doesn't attack people going in the wrong direction. Thieves don't break into empty houses. And the harder the thing you're going through right now, the better it's going to make your story when it's all said and done. No good story happens from everything going right. I mean, what's a testimony without a test? What's a message without a mess? What's a rainbow without rain? What's a star if there was never any darkness? The size of your battle is the evidence of the size of your calling. Don't worry when you meet opposition for obeying God. Worry when you don't meet opposition because you're probably not obeying God. We think the absence of an attack means we're doing something good, but sometimes the absence of an attack means the devil ain't worried about you. It might mean you're doing something wrong. It might mean you're on his team. If you never run into the devil, maybe it's because you're running with him. I'm just saying, I don't know. So to bring it all together, listen, they will fight you, but they will fail. Why? Because God is on your side and he will take care of you. Listen, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, I want you to comment down below. They will fight, but they will fail. And can I get a man?
Hello, everyone. It is Jake Baller here, and today, as you can see, I'm actually not home right now. I'm at someone else's apartment, just hanging out with some friends and doing some stuff for the weekend. Hopefully you guys are having a good weekend. If you guys are watching this video live right now, if you're not, I hope you're having a good day or night whenever you're watching this. But I kind of forgot that one of the most important dates of sports going on currently in the world, the official knockout rounds have started for the World Cup. Now we can finally see who will win this year's World Cup. I'm really excited. So I think there are 32 teams, like the round of 32, I think that's what it is. We're going to do a bracket, kind of like a March Madness bracket, and finally see all matchups. No more predictions, or I guess no more guessing. It is predictions. It's my picks. Let's see what I have to say. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please, if you guys could leave a thumbs up on the video, it would really mean so much to me. I am doing everything I possibly can to get this content out to you guys. Please, if you guys could just leave a like on the video, watch the video from the start to the finish. It would also help me out so much too. I would really appreciate it so much. I'm trying my best, you guys. Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you. Alright, here we are in the bracket, the round of 32, going on from June 28th all the way to July 3rd. We have not really a seating per se, but these are just the slots that are in here. I'm currently on the ESPN app. Let's make our picks. The first game, at least that's just the game that they're showing me on the bracket here. We have Germany versus Paraguay. Now Paraguay had a very tough group setting in their group with the USA and whatnot, and Germany still looked pretty dominant in their own. This game, in my opinion, is pretty easy. I think it will be a little bit of a low-scoring game. these correctly. I actually have no ideas. It's so close. Like, this is going to be such a close matchup, in my opinion. The last time these two teams even saw each other was a friendly match back in the year 2007. So we're not really getting a lot out of here. South Africa did win their last game against South Korea, which is kind of nice. Canada ended up losing their game against Switzerland, and that was kind of a heartbreaking loss. But against Qatar and Bosnia, they looked pretty dominant. Oh man, this is such a toss-up. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, this game is in Canada. Right? If this game is in Canada, I think I'm just going to give it to the home team. Canada moves on, but honestly, guys, that is almost a definition of a toss-up game. Another game that's going to be amazing to see. Netherlands and Morocco. This is going to be a good one. I could see this being maybe the first game of the tournament, this round of 32, to actually go into sort of a golden goal or even a penalty shootout. I think this is going to be a very close matchup. I'm super excited to see what comes out of this. Even though Morocco didn't look that great in their group setting, they did almost beat Brazil. Netherlands, on the other hand, had a very dominant group setting. I think they won all their games besides tying against Japan 2-2, so still scoring a bunch of goals, 5 against Sweden and 3 against Tunisia. That's kind of crazy. Morocco did barely beat Scotland, drew Brazil, wiped the 4-2 against Haiti. I'm really looking at that Brazil game, their first game being against Brazil. Man, that's so tough. I really want to say the Netherlands, but I think I'm just going to go Morocco. I think I just trust them a bit more, and he had a great run in their last World Cup. So did the Netherlands, but again, very close kind of toss. I'll go Morocco. We have Portugal against Croatia. I will be taking Portugal here. I will have a lot more to say later about Portugal, though. They definitely have kind of looking like a struggle in their group setting, which they definitely should not have struggled that much, in my opinion. But I do think they handle Croatia. Spain against Austria. Of course, going with Spain. USA versus Bosnia. I think Bosnia's defense is terrifying. I think that is what's really going to scare the USA the most as a fan watching the game. It's definitely going to be a low-scoring game. It might be a 1-0, 2-1 style of game. I will give the edge to the USA. I do think they have enough oomph on the offensive end to get the job done. Defensively, though, if this is a very low-scoring game and Bosnia sneaks one in, the game might be done. So USA has to keep it up defensively, but also having enough firepower to really tag down that Bosnia defense. Belgium against Senegal. This is also going to be kind of a tough outing because I don't know who to pick. Belgium is definitely not as dominant as they've been in many years prior. Senegal is always a pretty solid team. I think right now, currently, if I can look at the preview of this game, it looks like Senegal might be a little bit of the favorite here. It looks like Belgium is kind of the underdog. Belgium played against New Zealand and won 5-1, drew Iran, and drew also Egypt. Senegal did lose against France, lost against Norway. Those are really tough games. Those are some of the top teams in the World Cup, so do you either go with a team that's faced a better talent or a team that's just played better in the setting that they were in? I honestly don't know. I think Belgium looks interesting. It's just a toss-up. Literally just pick your poison. I think I'll just go Senegal. Just because this is so hard, you guys. Oh my god. We're gonna keep moving on, though. Next up, we have Brazil against Japan. Pretty easily with Brazil winning that. Ivory Coast against Norway. Ivory Coast has actually looked pretty good in this year's World Cup. But Norway has arguably one of the best players in mistaken, Mexico will have a home field advantage in this game. They beat South Africa, Korea, Czechs as well. Ecuador had to play against Germany, and also beat Germany 2-1. Now again, Germany at that point in time was, I think, already in the safe zone, so I don't know if they were trying too hard, but Ecuador beat Germany. That's kind of a tough thing to say. But then they also tied their last game 0-0, so a team that's played better against worse talent. Ecuador, Mexico home field advantage. Man, I know everyone's gonna be rooting for Mexico here. I guess I'll just go Mexico. I think Ecuador will probably win this game, but I'll be rooting for Mexico. Gotta hang out these home field advantage teams, I guess. Oh yeah, England against the Congo. Going with England. That's coming home. Argentina versus Cape Verde. Cape Verde, I think, being like the third smallest nation in the World Cup. That's pretty insane. Don't know how they got this far. And your reward is to face the GOAT. That's tough. Australia and Egypt, I think, is also very a toss-up matchup. I don't want to say I don't care about this matchup, but don't really care who comes out of this matchup. I think either way, it's kind of an easy way for Argentina. Maybe I'll just go Egypt. Because why not? I don't know, I think that's just a toss-up game at that point. Switzerland and Algeria. Algeria has played pretty well this year so far, but I'm going to go with Switzerland, Colombia, and Ghana. We're going Colombia. Alright, we are in the round of 16 now. Back all the way to the top of the list. Germany versus France.
I needed some.
No, this is not the finale. This is not for the World Cup. Germany and France will happen in the second round. Knock on wood to these teams. Sorry, not trying to jinx them. But that is an insane second round matchup. Oh my god. Both those teams are known to be so dominant in this sport. But currently, in the year 2026, France does have a better roster than Germany. I think, though, if Germany can defensively hold up against France, that's the key to this France team. You have to stop the goals. No duh. But with this France team, in general, they can score 3 to 4 goals every single match. You wouldn't bat an eye out of this team. It's that talented. If you can hold them to 1 to 2 goals, maybe even to a penalty shootout, like Argentina did to win the World Cup in last year's final. That is how you beat France. No scoring game, or just being able to keep up offensively. I don't think Germany can do the latter. Defensively, they'll have to. And I just won't bet on that if game. France is just all around better. Canada versus Morocco. We'll be taking Morocco there, even though, again, Morocco hasn't looked that good so far in the tournament. I think once they start playing up to these better leveled teams, I think they'll start to rise and be very good here, even if that sort of toss-up game of the Netherlands or Morocco, I think either one of those teams move past Canada, or whoever wins that matchup either. I think Morocco and the Netherlands are my two teams that make it all the way to their quarterfinal. Portugal versus Spain. Ooh. I did say I was going to have some things to say about Portugal. And here we are. Portugal has not looked that dominant in this World Cup run so far. And going up against a Spain team that in their first outing also very much struggled. I personally think Spain kind of just kicked it into another gear, while Portugal is still trying to get themselves there. Maybe they do that very, very quickly. And I USA versus Senegal. Am I gonna be a super stupid USA fan? Just carry them all the way just because of pure spirit? I might have to, because man, this USA team is playing with such a fire tenacity. I just don't know, even with a team like Senegal, who's a very solid team, definitely the best competitor the US would have played up to this point in the World Cup. You finally put up against a really good fight, will the USA crack? I'm gonna believe one last time, and sorry for spoiling my next pick, the USA is gonna beat Senegal. And that might be the stupidest thing I could possibly say. Maybe they could also beat Belgium. Belgium is just not who they used to be. The USA is playing with this momentum. It's just making everybody so much better on that roster. It's insane to watch on the field. I'm gonna take the USA to beat Senegal, and that might be my craziest pick so far. We then have Brazil and Norway. Even though again, Norway's gonna have a great offense here with the Holland on the squad. Brazil's defense, with also having Vini Jr. and a great team in Brazil all around. Taking Brazil to beat Norway. Just don't have enough oomph on that team. Mexico and England, I think will be very fun. Again, Mexico having that home field advantage we've talked about. I don't think it'll be enough against a very strong England squad. It's coming up. Argentina versus Egypt. Again, no offense to these other teams, but brother, Argentina locked out in their bracket because of holy cow. They have Egypt, and then also Cape Verde, Australia, Argentina. Again, knock on wood. There's a wood table down there. Knocking on the wood, they have a very easy out for this bracket. So if you're an Argentina fan, looking good. Switzerland and Colombia. We'll be taking Colombia. I think Switzerland actually has a pretty surprising team, but Colombia, I think, at least just to me, is the safer option of the two. The quarterfinal. France versus Morocco. Again, the game played of France. I've already went through it. And I don't think Morocco has enough firepower defensively or offensively to either keep up with France or stop France. France moves on. Germany will be their toughest opponent. It is Germany's job to take out France. Not like that. Not that kind of. Anyways. Spain versus the USA.
Every time you rip
Spain wins. I'm not that stupid. And even picking Senegal to lose to the USA is also pretty cuckoo. But I'm cuckoo right now for Team USA. The team chemistry is something you can almost not comprehend. It's something almost you have to just play through and watch and see. And I'm just trusting that right now. Maybe that's stupid, but I'm not stupid enough to play that against a great Spain team. Brazil versus England. That is an amazing matchup. Man, Harry Kane is really looking great for that team. He might even be at the peak of his career right now. He just looks like one of the best strikers in all of football right now. Is that enough to take out Brazil with the rest of that England squad? I think it is extremely doable. But as we all know, England is one of the worst luck teams in all of football. The bad luck bug strikes here. Sorry, England. Brazil is just as good or even just slightly better than them. England is gonna England. Brazil moves on to the semifinal. Argentina versus Colombia, I think, is also a great matchup. It could be very back and forth. And, you know, if Colombia can sort of stop that crazy offensive firepower of Messi and everybody else on that team offensively, man, they looked really good. final, making it to the World Cup final. France versus Spain, Brazil versus Argentina. I mean, that sounds kind of fire to me. I think any one of these four teams are great. I think England kind of being that wild card fits spot with maybe even potentially a Morocco, Portugal team can also sneak in there. I think those are my three dark horses, if you want to call England a dark horse. Those are my three teams to definitely watch to maybe break into this top four. But right now, currently, I'm liking what I'm seeing for these teams. France versus Spain is extremely great. France, though, just looks better. Also, with Yamal being so young in his career, I think his pure talent with the rest of that great Spain team can lead them to this point. But I think once the pressure really starts to hit against going up a actually great World Cup class team like a France team here, it's going to be too much. France takes the dub over Spain. Defensively, they can stop them, and Yamal has a masterclass 2-goal sort of crazy game. It's very high scoring, and both teams are very getting at it. Winnable, but I won't bet on winnable in a bunch of ifs. I'm taking what I see. Brazil and Argentina. Man, do we get a rematch of last time? I almost said last year. Last time. It's a World Cup. I do think the age of Argentina is also something that we have to take into account. They're going to be playing a lot of high-level football in a couple short span amount of weeks. Can that Argentina team lead it all the way this deep into this run? I don't know. Maybe I'm taking that maybe into too much of an account. Also, betting on a rematch of the last World Cup probably isn't that smart either. So I'm going to take Brazil over Argentina. Can Argentina win? Absolutely yes. But having a rematch of last time would be awesome. I would love to see it. But that's kind of a crazy thing. Has that ever happened in a World Cup in its history? A rematch? That'd be kind of insane. So avoiding that sort of, what's it called? Not a malady. Something that doesn't happen very often. I have my final. France versus Brazil. I think in their bracket, and somehow everything was just linked. And these are probably my two top teams of these respected brackets. If I could rank the brackets, kind of like a March Madness or NBA, a 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of style. These both would probably be my 1, or at least a 1 and a 2 seed. 1 being France and 2 being Brazil. I think this would make a lot of sense now. This would be an extremely great game. I'm not gonna lie. Any other sort of matchups I could see this being would be obviously Argentina if they can keep up a great run for about a couple more weeks with Messi out there with his 45-year-old legs. Not really, but you know what I mean. Or even England if they can get past Brazil and just keep everything going. Maybe it does actually come home for England. But we all know what England usually does in these moments. Anyways, France versus Brazil would be absolutely amazing to see. I think Brazil does have the defense and the offense to keep up with France and vice versa. It would not surprise me. Excuse me. If this was a matchup that ended up just like last time, 3-3 going into extra time, no one scoring because the defensive both teams are so great, ending in a penalty shootout to see who wins it all. And honestly, I could 1,000,000% see that happening this go around as well. And I really hope it does because the last World Cup finale was one of my favorite live sport watching events I've seen. Since then, like Super Bowls and NBA Finals have been great, but that